Deciding to test her husband, the fading wife handed him the keys to the drawer with the will, only to find him opening it with his lover. "Gloria, hold on," shouted Gordon. That was the last thing she remembered from that terrible accident. Back then, she was a hopeful fourth-year economics student, expecting a child. A massive car crash on the Eastern Bridge 10 years ago claimed 7 lives, including her unborn babies. Doctors saved Gloria. They fought for her life for 5 long hours. Throughout that time, Gordon waited outside the surgical ward, despite his broken arm. "Well, you held on well, young lady," an elderly doctor sat by Gloria's bedside. "You'll live a full life, but you probably won't have children anymore. Too many injuries. Everything will heal, of course, but the question is how exactly? In any case, you've been incredibly lucky. I think fate owes you a special lottery ticket for this incident." That day was forever etched in Gloria's memory. The director's words came true. Years later, she became the wife of a successful businessman. They say women like her shaped their husbands into who they are now. People envy such women. But few consider the price they pay to become the ladies of successful men. It's not easy to rise from the very bottom, denying oneself the quiet life of an ordinary housewife. The same happened to Gloria. When it came down to choosing who would work and who would study, Gloria, against the protests of her professors, left university and wholeheartedly entered Gordon's business affairs. He barely finished his financial institute degree and simultaneously started his small business in affordable furniture production. Why sacrifice your life and career? Gloria's friends would say. What nonsense to put all your eggs in one basket. How is your Gordon any better? He barely passes his exams while you're heading for a red diploma. Let him drop out of college. I know, girls, Gloria reassured her concerned friends. It was his idea about the furniture company, so I have to support him. And what if he gets rich and leaves you, like most rich men do, trading you in for a younger beauty when you grow old, her friends insisted. Don't be silly. He loves me and would never do that, Gloria smiled in response, already plotting something delicious for her beloved Gordon. Seeing that she paid no heed to their advice, her friends washed their hands of the situation, watching with concern as Gloria ruined her life for her man. Her parents were also displeased with their daughter's decision. Her father, especially, wanted Gloria to be independent and accomplished. But Gloria was too happy and inspired by her husband's dream to understand the concerns of those close to her. Gordon, however, cared little for the sideways glances of Gloria's acquaintances. At first, he and a friend invented, developed, and assembled furniture in their garage. Slowly but surely, they gained customers. Throughout this time, Gloria was by his side, creating the conditions for her husband's creativity and career growth. She became both the first economist and accountant, practically managing Gordon's brainchild. Gloria guided her husband through the difficulties of his business, handled relations with partners, and expanded the client base. Yet, Gordon remained the firm's director and owner because Gloria knew how hard it was for women to succeed in business. Still, she was the gray cardinal of the rapidly growing furniture company, Lotus, which could soon compete with major manufacturers. Customers trusted the quality of their products, and the range of furniture pleased people of modest means. Well, wife, Gordon said one day upon returning from their small office, we're going international. Foreigners have ordered a large batch of furniture from us. We're expanding. Wow, congratulations. You're amazing, Gloria boasted to her husband, immediately calling her friends to tell them how wrong they had been. Only one thing clouded their otherwise carefree and happy life, the absence of children. Your tests are normal, and your reproductive health is completely fine, said the gynecologist during her next appointment. But pregnancy hasn't occurred again. Your delay seems to be a psychological issue. But why can't I get pregnant? Gloria asked. It's all in your head, the doctor replied. When you calm down and find your place, then everything is possible. But I am calm. I'm in my place, Gloria retorted, offended by the doctor's words. Are you sure? The elderly doctor quietly asked. She fell silent. Deep down, she knew he was right. After all, the man had been working as a women's doctor for decades and had learned to understand the psychology of his patients. Well, what did the doctor say? Asked her concerned mother. When will you bless us with grandchildren? Your father is ill. Who knows how long he has left? He would like to play with grandchildren before he dies. Mom, don't say that. Gloria reassured her. Dad will be fine, and I will have time to give birth. Soon you'll be complaining about the mischief of the little ones, and my health is fine. Oh, I would love to see grandchildren soon, sighed her mother. Gloria's father passed away a month after that conversation with her mother. Devastated, she didn't live a year after his death. So Gloria was left alone, apart from Gordon. She had no other relatives. She sold her parents' apartment to invest the money in her husband's business, which he promised would be jointly owned. But the growth in customers implied the company would need more resources. All possible loans had already been taken, and banks were no longer willing to take the risk of giving the huge loan Gordon had hoped for. I told you, don't buy those bonds. It seemed too suspicious, Gloria said when Gordon complained about losing the invested money. Anyone could see it was a scam. Why didn't you listen to me? Oh, you're the smart one, her husband exclaimed. I'm the company's owner, and it's up to me where to invest. I thought we were owners, Gloria said, astonished. But now isn't the time for that. We need to save the money. Where are the other funds you managed to withdraw? I invested them in cryptocurrency. A colleague suggested it, Gordon replied. Are you out of your mind? Gloria exclaimed, grabbing her head. It's dangerous to trust just anyone. But why didn't you tell me? Gordon, what's going on? Stop it already. Gordon waved his hand and left for work. From that day on, their relationship became strained. Or perhaps it had always been like that. Only Gloria, immersed in caring for her husband, hadn't noticed. Is this Gloria Benson? A confident male voice interrupted her troubled thoughts. This is your father's lawyer, William Brown. Can I meet with you? It concerns your inheritance. Please keep this conversation between us. Yes, Gloria replied, surprised by the strange call. After all, she had received her inheritance from her parents 6 months ago. Let's meet in an hour at the Cherry Cafe. Gloria sat at a table in the childhood haunt where she had gone with her parents when she was a little girl. An elderly man in a smart suit and an old-fashioned briefcase approached her. Are you Gloria? He asked. Although, why do I even ask? You look so much like your dad. You knew my father? Gloria asked, surprised. Like the back of my hand, the lawyer smiled. He trusted me completely. And now, as I retire, there's one last thing I need to do, deliver your father's will, Gloria. Didn't I already receive everything? She wondered. No, because I'm here now, William Brown replied. Your father disposed of his savings, accumulated from playing the stock market quite astutely, knowing that in the heat of emotions you would give everything to your husband. As you know, your father didn't trust Gordon. That's why he instructed me to come to you and hand over this money. My friend knew very well that you would be left with nothing. No means of support, without your parents' apartment. Your husband insisted on auctioning it off, didn't he? Yes, Gloria answered, stunned by how meticulously her father had planned everything and even after his death wanted to help his beloved daughter. Here's the account that now belongs solely to you, the lawyer continued. You can spend this inheritance only on yourself or your own company, which will be registered solely in your name. Your father appointed me to oversee the spending, and believe me, not a single ruble will go towards supporting your husband and his company. But this firm is our family business. Gloria exclaimed. How can I spend money only on myself? You'll understand someday, smiled William Brown. And about the company, I suppose it's officially registered under Gordon. Why is that? I trust him, Gloria stubbornly replied. But your father didn't, the lawyer said gently. Here's the bank card. Each month, a certain amount will be deposited into it, interest accrued from the investment, so you won't depend on your husband. And here's the amount in your account, the lawyer wrote down a figure with many zeros. When Gloria saw how much money her father had left her, she was overwhelmed. But how? How could he earn so much? It's impossible. He and Mom lived a simple life, she exclaimed, throwing her hands up. Ha, think where you got your talent for economics from? Plus, a reliable, pragmatic friend in me, wearing the business hat. William Brown smiled. You don't always have to talk about your wealth aloud, right? Thank you, Gloria said and hugged the elderly man like a father. Tears welled up in her eyes, and Gloria cried, I miss him so much. I do too, my girl, I do too, said the lawyer, bid farewell, and left. Gloria flew home on wings. She wanted to share the news of her newfound wealth with her husband, but to her surprise, Gordon met the news about Gloria's personal funds without much enthusiasm. Your money doesn't concern me, her husband dryly replied. This lawyer and your old man had it all figured out. Right. Why should I respect the son-in-law? Let him struggle like a fly in the ear. And look at us, we have millions stashed under the mattress ourselves. Just like Rockefeller. Don't speak about my father like that, Gloria reprimanded him. My parents helped us a lot. I gave myself entirely to your dream, and we made it. Now you have your own company. What more could you dream of? And who asked you to give yourself entirely? Gordon suddenly retorted, and Gloria's eyes blurred with hurt from his words. But I do have a dream. A son and daughter you'll never give me, his final words struck Gloria so painfully, as if a hot knife had pierced her heart. She hadn't expected such cruelty from her husband. But you know that because of that accident, I can't have children. And you were involved in it, remember? You narrowly escaped punishment. Then they blamed the truck driver for everything. What's done is done, Gordon replied and started to leave. Where are you going? It's late, Gloria asked. I'm going to the office. There's too much work piled up, Gordon replied shortly and left, slamming the door, apparently unable to forgive his wife for not being able to place that money at his disposal. It was late evening. Gordon didn't come home. Anxiety grew, and Gloria decided to call to find out what was going on. But Gordon had left his phone on the nightstand. She tried calling his office directly, but no one answered there either. Panic was starting to set in for Gloria, but then the key turned in the door, and Gordon walked into the hallway. He was clearly intoxicated, something he had never allowed himself during the week. Where have you been for so long? She asked anxiously. Where I've been, I'm no longer there, drunkenly laughed Gordon and went to sleep on the couch, not even bothering to take off his shoes. She thought Gordon was so upset about his father's inheritance and the fact that his father-in-law never trusted him from the start. And she forgave her husband for this outburst. As Gloria undressed the sleeping Gordon to put him to bed, she noticed a faint scent of women's perfume. Writing it off as the smell of alcohol, she didn't think much of it. Gordon, sighed Gloria, you're still such a child. She stroked her husband's head. Irma, my girl, son, daughter. Gordon muttered incoherently in his sleep. Gloria froze in surprise. My poor Gordon, she thought. He's dreaming of children, and I can't give them to him. He had even named the daughter Irma in his dream. Gloria cried bitterly, trying to stifle her sobs so as not to wake her husband. The next morning, he woke up lively, which couldn't be said about her. Dark circles under her eyes and nocturnal anxieties had left their mark. Swollen eyelids, reddened nose. Why are you acting so funny? Gordon asked as if nothing had happened while his wife prepared breakfast. As if you spent the whole night in a sports bar cheering for your favorite team. If only. Gloria replied sleepily. Someone came home drunk from work last night. Any idea who that might have been? And what, I can't have a drink with an old friend anymore. Maybe we haven't seen each other in a while, he retorted, offended. What friend? Gloria inquired. Is this an interrogation? Gordon suddenly exploded, startling Gloria. I'll eat at work. At least they don't interrogate me there, and Gordon walked away, leaving her bewildered in the middle of the kitchen. During the day, Gloria decided to visit a store near her husband's office. She wanted to cheer him up with a luxurious dinner and smooth out the rough patches that were appearing more frequently between them. Gloria, so good to see you. Katrina, Gordon's secretary who had been with the company since its inception and was like family to them, hurried over to greet her. Hi, Katrina, why don't you come over to our place sometime? Gloria asked. I think Gordon wouldn't be too happy to see me, Katrina replied, winking conspiratorially. I know a bit too much. I think not more than me, Gloria laughed, finding Katrina's serious expression strange. Why are you out and about during work hours? Are you on a gingerbread run? Gloria joked. I actually quit, Katrina said. Why? Gloria asked, taken aback. Was the salary not enough? We can raise it. There's another reason, let's just say, a moral one, Katrina evasively replied. And who's your replacement now? Gordon didn't mention anything. Odd. Now there's a new secretary, Irma, Katrina blushed, and I found another job. Getting used to it. By the way, did you have a family celebration yesterday? I saw Gordon in the evening buying a gorgeous bouquet of flowers and a huge teddy bear. No, he was working late yesterday and came home drunk, Gloria replied. Are you sure? Katrina asked insidiously, then bid farewell and went on her way. This strange conversation had deeply affected Gloria and wouldn't let her relax. Dinner was ready, but for some reason, she wasn't as joyful as she had been in the morning. Vague doubts tormented her mind. Gloria was afraid to ask directly where her fiancé had been the previous evening and with whom. What if her suspicions were baseless, and Katrina was simply trying to get back at Gordon for her dismissal? Trying to extract the truth from her husband might only push him further away from Gloria. So, she decided to wait, to carefully and thoroughly investigate everything herself. Dinner was already on the table, but Gordon still hadn't arrived. He appeared at the door 2 hours later. Gloria had to reheat the stew again. Putting on a smile, she decided to hide her concerns. Busy day? Gloria asked sympathetically, helping Gordon remove his jacket. She caught a familiar scent of expensive French perfume again. It was a woman's perfume. Checking his shirt just in case for lipstick traces and finding nothing, Gloria reassured herself that she was just overthinking. Yeah, a lot of work, Gordon replied. We were discussing next year's company development strategy with colleagues. You know, exhausting. I'll grab a quick bite and hit the sack, okay? Well, I spent the whole day preparing, stood by the stove for 3 hours, Gloria started. Let's spend time together like we used to, remember? Sit, chat, laugh, reminisce about the old days. Gloria, I'm not in the mood for laughter right now, Gordon interrupted her. We need to ramp up production, and that takes money. I told you I'm tired, can't you hear me? It's true what they say, women dull out doing housework. She didn't expect such rudeness from her husband. Gloria decided not to argue with him further. It was clear he was distancing himself deliberately. Dinner passed in silence. The ticking of the clock was audible, counting down the time until the end of their family gatherings. Gloria kept going to the kitchen to wipe away tears. Soon, Gordon got up, thanked her for dinner, and left the dining room without even kissing her as he usually did. Sharp suspicions pricked Gloria's soul like thorns, taking root there. Why did Katrina stop visiting them? Why didn't her father trust Gordon? Who was involved in the secretary's dismissal? These questions plagued poor Gloria's mind without answers. And so, she decided either she would find out the whole truth now, or she would close this chapter and continue living as before in her secluded world. Gloria chose the former, but it required a plan. However, the plan was not meant to be. Gloria fell ill suddenly. She felt unwell. Weakness, a slow pulse, and a semi-conscious state led her to a hospital bed. "It's a strange case," the young doctor said to Gloria. "All your tests, thank God, are fine, but your condition leaves much to be desired. It feels like symptoms of toxic poisoning and a heart attack combined. But if that were the case, your blood tests would show it, and they're perfect." "I don't understand. Will I live?" Gloria asked quietly. "You will, of course. But what will the quality of life be like? Your sudden fainting spells and weakness have an unclear nature." "What did you eat yesterday?" Dr. Charles asked. "Nothing special, stew and a glass of red wine," Gloria replied. "Then I'm completely puzzled. If you think I lack experience, you can change your doctor," the doctor said grimly. "No, everything is fine with me." "Maybe it's the aftermath of an old injury from an accident," Gloria reassured the doctor. "Unlikely," he replied, "but anything is possible. I'll schedule an MRI, and we'll see from there." Yet, even the MRI showed no abnormalities for Gloria. Doctors just shrugged, but they eventually discharged her. It was a friend who picked Gloria up from the hospital. Gordon hadn't found time to help his wife. What's more, he hadn't visited her once during the 5 days Gloria was undergoing examinations. This hurt her deeply. Gloria decided to test Gordon's loyalty and to finally confirm whether her father had been right about him being dishonorable. The house greeted her with echoing emptiness. The fridge was empty, and there were bottles from expensive champagne in the trash. "And what were you celebrating so merrily while your wife was in the hospital?" Gloria asked aloud, addressing Gordon's photograph in a frame on the mantel. "It's time to get you out in the open. Brace yourself, dear husband. Cleverness was never your forte." Gloria took a pen and a sheet of paper. Finally, she had figured out what she needed to do. Gloria was adept with technology, so it wasn't difficult for her to install a hidden camera in the niche of the fireplace, opposite the antique carved chest, a gift from her father. She placed the coveted sheet of paper in a folder that she hid in the top drawer of the chest, locking it securely with a small silver key. "Dad, thank you for this gift." Gloria silently addressed her father. "I think it will help me in this difficult task. Now, I just have to wait for Gordon. God, give me strength." To make time fly rather than crawl like a turtle, Gloria, as much as her health allowed, decided to prepare a dinner for two. While the courier delivered groceries, she went to her room to choose an outfit for their meal together. She needed to look her best. Gloria took her favorite cream and applied it to her face and neck. Its pleasant scent enveloped her in gentle embrace. However, there was one problem: all the dresses hung on her like on a hanger. She had visibly lost weight. Gloria looked in the mirror. Sunken cheeks and dark circles under her eyes aged her, and her hair had thinned and become lifeless. Moreover, Gloria didn't feel well. She was constantly thirsty. She drank all the water from the pitcher in the kitchen, but the thirst still tormented her. The groceries arrived quickly, but preparing dinner proved to be a hassle. She often had to take breaks. Her hands trembled with weakness, and she constantly wanted to lie down and rest. She remembered her luxurious pearl earrings. She wanted to wear them, but they weren't in their usual place. At that moment, the front door slammed shut. Gordon had arrived. "Gloria, are you home?" "I'm here." She came out into the hallway. "Hello. Dinner is on the table. Come, my hands are already on the table. How are you feeling?" "You look not too great." He looked at her as if seeing her for the first time. "SOSO," she replied. "Have you seen my pearl earrings?" "I can't find them." "Strange." "No," Gordon replied shortly. During dinner, she said to her husband, "Listen, something strange has been happening to me lately." "It's unclear how long I'll live," Gloria began, noticing how eagerly her husband was listening. "So, I've made a will, but I have one condition." "What is it?" Gordon exhaled. The will is in my chest of drawers, but you must open it only after I die. Here's the key. Promise me? Gloria handed her husband the coveted key. Of course, he quickly replied, but then hesitated and added, well, I hope it won't come to that. The deed was done. Gloria set the trap. If Gordon retrieves the will before the designated time, it means he wants her out of his life. At that moment, she needed only his money. Gloria anxiously watched if Gordon approached the chest of drawers. She had installed a special app on her phone for this purpose. 3 days passed, but Gordon didn't come near it. Gloria relaxed a little. They resumed their joint dinners, which calmed her down. But soon, the mysterious illness made itself known again. Her condition worsened sharply, and she was taken to the same hospital by ambulance. When Gloria woke up, Dr. Charles and an unfamiliar nurse were standing before her, arguing animatedly. I beg you, Michael, what nonsense! Exclaimed the doctor. This isn't witchcraft. You're a medic. I've seen such patients before, whispered Michael. If not treated in time, they aren't tenants. Let me bring a grandma to her. Bring a shaman to the Ministry of Health institution, let him dance with a tambourine there. Maybe he'll conjure up a new ultrasound machine for us too. Charles retorted. And don't bother the granny, she already has high blood pressure. Doctor? Gloria recognized the surprised doctor. What shamans are you talking about? You're awake? That's good. Charles leaned over her and checked her pulse. Your heart is racing. I don't understand. My brother's joking, he talks nonsense. The doctor signaled for him to leave. Rest, the doctor said. I'll check on you later. And Gloria was left alone in the ward. This time, Gordon splurged and chose a private room for his wife. Apparently, to apologize for leaving Gloria alone here last time. To keep herself occupied between procedures, she took out her phone and monitored the space where the chest of drawers stood. She was afraid of missing the moment when Gordon would open the drawer, but nothing happened. So, Gloria simply watched her home, enjoying every moment of life, and her patience was rewarded. Gloria clearly saw Gordon approach the chest of drawers and pull out the key from his jacket. Suddenly, he looked around and smiled warmly, as if he had seen something beautiful. A young woman approached him, wearing Gloria's pearl earrings. How could you? Gloria exclaimed, her heart sinking. Her cry went unheard by its intended recipient, but she understood perfectly well what they were talking about. Irma, my angel, cross your fingers for me, Gordon crooned softly, causing Gloria's heart to ache with pain. Open it quickly, darling, demanded Irma. Well, technically, I should do this after my wife's death. But for you, I'm willing to do anything. Gordon smiled. So, voila. He skillfully retrieved the folder with the will. With hands trembling with greed, he untied the ribbons. Before him lay a completely blank sheet. I don't get the joke, Gordon shouted, tossing the sheet onto the floor. What is this? Where is the will? What does this mean? It seems you've been played, Irma said, displeased. How could you let her do this to you? You said everything was under control. She knew I would open the will early, which means she suspected me, Gordon concluded. I can't stand to see her anymore. I've had enough. Calm down, murmured Irma. You're scaring me, and it's bad for you to worry. The couple left the room, leaving the chest of drawers open. Gloria felt that Gordon, leaving everything as it was, hoped she wouldn't return. Ever. The trap had snapped shut. Sudden pain pierced her entire body, and Gloria lost consciousness. How you scared us, the nurse was setting up an 4 for her. It's good you came to. Call William Brown, my lawyer. Here's the phone. Gloria couldn't even muster the strength to hold the receiver. Okay, I'll take care of it, said the nurse. William Brown arrived promptly. Gloria told him everything, hiding nothing. He was concerned about her condition. Gloria, why didn't you tell me anything? He chided her. You're on the brink. You have problems in your personal life, and on top of that, you're seriously ill. I didn't want to inconvenience anyone. I'm sorry, Gloria replied softly. She was weakening. Dear William Brown, I asked for your help. Draft a will on my behalf. All the money I inherited from my father after my death, I want to leave to the Children's Fund. They will use it wisely. I have no biological children, so I'll help others at least. All right, I'll take care of it, the man replied with trembling lips. Are you sure you won't leave anything to your husband? I'll leave him my old chest of drawers, Gloria said. Even in such a situation, you can joke. That's what your father loved about you. I understand him. After the lawyer left, Gloria pondered. Before, she had only worried about her husband's well-being. And what did she get in return? No family, no children, no faith in the future. That's what remained of their marriage. Even in her dreams, Gordon spoke of this Irma, and naive Gloria thought he dreamed of a daughter. Now all she faced was death and emptiness. Tears of resentment for a life spent in vain, dedicated to only one person, flowed from her eyes. Amid all the business with Gordon and caring for him like a god, she missed her father's and mother's illness and death. She wasn't there for them in their difficult moments. And now, there was no one with her. The realization of her own loneliness weighed even heavier on Gloria. She felt defeated. By the end of the day, she couldn't even get out of bed. Hey, why are you feeling so down? Michael sat next to Gloria, who was sobbing, with a tray. Come on, buddy, let's eat some chicken soup. I don't want to, Gloria said softly. Let me quietly die. What? Not on my shift, exclaimed Michael. You need to eat. All right, if not eat, then let's drink. Seeing the surprised look on Gloria, he corrected himself. Yeah, let's drink some chicken broth, and Michael shook the cup so clumsily that the soup spilled on the floor. Gloria involuntarily laughed, but did so silently. The energy of the recently energetic woman poured out like that soup. Michael took advantage of the moment and managed to get a few spoonfuls of warm broth into the patient. She immediately felt better and smiled. Thank you, she said. You're welcome, smiled Michael. Helping people is my job and calling. But I've been keeping an eye on you for a while now. What happened? How did things get so bad for you? I think there's a malevolent force at work here. And even though my brother is against it, I still want to offer you a solution. What kind of solution? Gloria asked, intrigued. Escape from here, Michael whispered. They'll patch you up here without knowing what's wrong. I'll take you to my grandmother. She's a healer and herbalist. She used to get crowds of people back on their feet, but now that she's older, she doesn't practice much. But she'll help you for my sake. I have nowhere to run, she said quietly, tears welling up. I'll take you to my grandmother's. She's a healer and herbalist. She used to get crowds of people back on their feet, but now that she's older, she doesn't practice much. But she'll help you for my sake, Michael assured her. Why do you want to help me? Gloria asked. Honestly, I don't know myself. But there's something about you, he shrugged. Well, are you in? Time is against you. Write a note that you're leaving the hospital on your own accord, or they'll call the police, and I'll be in trouble. All right, Gloria replied shortly. She had nothing left to lose. Late in the evening, at the agreed-upon time, Michael brought her clothes. Gloria changed. He carried Gloria, who was as light as a feather, out of the hospital unnoticed. They took a taxi to Adela's grandmother's house. The village where the healer lived was not far from the city. Adela's house was completely covered in ivy, surrounded by aromatic herbs. Adela was sitting on a bench. Seeing her grandson carrying Gloria out of the car, she briskly walked over to help him. Once inside, they laid Gloria on a high bed with a quilt. Adela gave her a potion made from medicinal herbs with a prayer incantation, which she recited over the patient. Gloria suddenly felt enveloped in a pleasant, relaxing sleep. "Sleep, my dear, sleep," she heard a pleasant voice of the grandmother through her dreams. Gloria slept for nearly a day. She was awakened by the scent of baking and food. She felt ravenous, which struck her as strange. She could feel her strength returning. "Grandmother, what did you give me to drink?" Gloria asked. "It's a nettle brew, gathered at full moon, with prayers to all the saints," Adela simply replied. "It purges people of the evil done to them. And there was a lot of it on you. I had to change your shirt 3 times. Gloria looked at herself. Indeed, she was lying in a long linen nightshirt, carefully embroidered by someone's caring hands. "Thank you," she said softly. "There's no need to thank me. You better thank my grandson for this. A couple more days and you would have completely faded away. They were feeding you, dear, with the venom of a yellow toad. Such creatures lurk in our swampy marshes. No analysis would find the cause of poisoning. But this poison harms a person, taking away strength and life," explained the healer. "But no worries, I'll heat up the sauna now and quickly purge the remnants of someone else's malice from you. And I also arranged for your killer to come to you and reveal themselves." "But who could do this to me?" "I haven't done anything bad to anyone," Gloria was astonished. "You don't necessarily have to do something bad, it's enough just to live well," sighed Adela. "That's what infuriates people. And it was your closest person who surprised you, someone who was nearby. They mixed that poison into your face cream. Your face and neck were covered in yellow blotches, much worse than the rest of your body. But there's still a lot of this infection inside you." "Oh, Grandma Adela, please help me," pleaded Gloria. "I'll give you money, as much as you want." "I don't need your money. I'm doing this for the sake of my grandson," said Adela and smiled. "It seems he liked you." "He's a good boy, lost his mother early," she added. "I know he's a good person," Gloria smiled back. Her strength was truly returning. By the evening, she could get out of bed and move around. After the sauna ritual that Adela performed on her to cleanse her, she felt even better than before, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. When Michael came home from work, he was surprised to find the patient helping Adela prepare dinner. "Well, I'll be," he exclaimed. "Granny, you've outdone yourself." She was practically on her deathbed. "How did this happen?" "I'm so glad." "That's right. A professional was at work," joked the grandmother. "But seriously, grandson, you brought Gloria here just in time. Well done. How's your little brother doing? Thrashing about?" "Oh, he's still at it," chuckled Michael. "Left me without a reward, though, said it was for insubordination." "He'll need a steam bath for his pride too," grumbled Adela. The next 3 days passed for Gloria in an atmosphere of tranquility and peace. She had never felt this good before. She loved the village, the clean air, delicious food, closeness to nature, simple people, and their openness all warmed her heart, which had suffered so much. She decided to stay, a decision welcomed by Adela and Michael. The healer had long needed an apprentice, and Michael found Gloria, with her charm and gentleness, very appealing. Moreover, he had fallen in love with her. But this idyll was interrupted by a visit from her past life. Gordon showed up. Clearly, he hadn't expected to find Gloria in good health and was unpleasantly surprised. "Well, hello there," he sneered. "So this is where you've been hiding. The hospital told me you escaped. How did you decide on that? You could have died without treatment." "Hello," countered Gloria. "I wonder, do you happen to know who might be responsible for my illness? I have every right to leave wherever I want. But poisoning a living person with venom is a criminal offense." Upon hearing about the poison, Gordon paled, thus confirming the healer's words, and Gloria noticed. "What poison are you talking about?" "I know nothing about this," exclaimed Gordon. "And what about your lover Irma? Do you know anything about her?" asked Gloria, who for some reason no longer cared about her husband's infidelity. She realized she no longer loved this man. "I don't have a lover," blurted out the now blushing man. Well, the surveillance footage suggests otherwise, Gloria smirked. Did you like my will? By the way, I've filed for divorce. My lawyer will be in touch with you. Please do. I've been wanting to divorce you for a long time. Gordon yelled. You've been such a nuisance. But all the business is in my name, including your house. You blindly signed that gift deed once. Well, that's what happens when you trust someone, Gloria smirked. And my father was right about you. I'm grateful to him for his help. I feel sorry for your Irma. I think she'll face the same fate as me. Now, please leave. This house is too clean for someone like you. And with that, Gordon stormed out, slamming the door behind him. Gloria couldn't hold back her tears any longer, and Adela rushed to comfort her. Don't be sad, my dear. You have so many years ahead of you. You'll start over. May God sort everything out for you, the healer said, stroking Gloria's head. Look at how Michael looks at you, he can't get enough. I think it's mutual, Gloria confessed to her grandmother. Well then, go tell him. Adela smiled. He's been through a lot for you. That same evening, the two lovers met. Gloria and Michael sorted everything out between them and decided to marry as soon as Gloria finalized her divorce. They didn't have to wait long for the procedure. William Brown did everything he could to help Gloria finally part ways with her treacherous husband. They didn't have a lavish wedding. The couple quietly signed their papers surrounded by their closest friends and family and had a small evening celebration in a local restaurant. William Brown came over to congratulate Gloria. It was clear he was happy for his close friend's daughter. I wish you nothing but joy in life, Gloria, he said, embracing her. Your father would have approved of your choice. Michael is a worthy man. Thank you, she replied. We've decided to open a small medical center in the village. We don't even have a paramedic post here, and the sick have to travel to the city. Our services will be both paid and free. And we also want to open a complementary medicine practice with Adela in charge. But it seems we need some special permits for that. Don't worry, I'll take care of all the paperwork, reassured William Brown. Do you want to use your father's funds? It's the right decision. Yes, I think Dad would have approved, Gloria said. While the building for the medical center was under construction, the healer taught Gloria everything she knew. In addition, Adela bequeathed her beloved granddaughter, as she called Gloria, her ancient book of healing, which had been passed down through generations of women in her family. It was a huge ancient manuscript in a red leather binding, written in Old Slavic, which Gloria had to learn under Adela's guidance. Soon, Gloria became proficient in herbs and their applications, able to discern the true cause of illness. Now, Michael's home had two healers. Only now did Gloria understand why she never finished her economics degree. She had a different calling, to save people. She possessed an extraordinary talent that her grandmother recognized from the very beginning. Adela didn't live to see the opening of the center, just 2 weeks short. She passed away peacefully in her sleep. Gloria's grief was immense. For 3 whole days, while preparations for the funeral were underway, she couldn't eat or drink. On the first night after the funeral, Adela appeared in Gloria's dream. Don't grieve like this, my dear granddaughter. This is just the beginning of another life for me, and you must continue my work. Take care of Michael and that miracle that awaits you ahead. I'm leaving. Grandma, don't leave. Gloria cried out in her dream. She was awakened by Michael, who was startled. She told him about her dream and then cried bitterly, releasing the bitterness of separation. By morning, Gloria was on her feet and full of energy. She had to fulfill Adela's command. The medical center was opened a week later and named after her grandmother, Adela. As soon as it opened, every day was filled with patients. The center was staffed by the city's finest doctors, including Michael's brother, Dr. Charles. Both free consultations and paid procedures were in high demand. The fees were very reasonable compared to private clinics. And for those who didn't want to wait for their appointments, which were already booked a month in advance, there was a special fondness for the alternative medicine room, where Gloria herself provided care. Not a single person was dissatisfied with her help. Meanwhile, Michael supported his wife in everything. One thing troubled Gloria. She couldn't conceive. Her body couldn't rid itself of the memories of the past, despite following the healer's instructions meticulously. Let go of the resentment, Adela had often told her. Why do you still hold on to it? You can't be a mother like this. You need to release the bitter memories. But every now and then, Gloria's heart would ache with anger towards Gordon. Gloria! Gloria! People called her from outside. She quickly dressed and ran out into the yard. The summer night was cool. What happened? Gloria ran up to the crowd of villagers. They parted, revealing a deeply pregnant woman lying unconscious on makeshift stretchers. Her water had already broken. Her car was parked on the side of the bypass road, someone from the locals explained. I was coming back from the farm and saw her in the car. She's pregnant. Her car wouldn't start, so I called for help. We brought her here since the ambulance won't arrive quickly. It'll take them a good 2 hours with the roads all washed out after the rain. Come on, Gloria, do something, she might not make it. Gloria bent over the stranger and recoiled. Before her lay Irma, Gordon's mistress. But Gloria couldn't abandon someone in distress. No, she won't die. Bring her inside, I'll get the keys. Gloria shouted. Michael, follow your brother, we have an emergency. Michael jumped on his motorcycle and raced across the field. By the time Irma was brought into the medical center, she had regained consciousness. Seeing Gloria, she grew frightened and started crying. Forgive me, she sobbed in pain. I'm so guilty before you. God will forgive, and I will too, Gloria replied. Now, let's focus on your contractions, we're going to save your children. And while we work, tell me how you ended up here, why you were wandering alone at night. I am alone, the mistress cried. They put Gordon in jail. He was hiding taxes from the state and involved in some schemes. I warned him to stop being greedy, but he wouldn't listen. They confiscated everything he had. And we never got married. I'm left with nothing. The car is old junk, I couldn't even make it to the maternity hospital. What's going to happen now? Everything will be fine, don't be afraid, Gloria comforted Irma. A good doctor will arrive, and if needed, he'll support me. But Charles arrived just in time, literally within 10 minutes. Soon, the surgical room of the Adela Center echoed with the cries of newborn twins, a boy and a girl. The delivery was natural and successful, despite minor complications. Gloria was overjoyed. She held the babies in her arms and cried. Irma, on the other hand, silently watched them, biting her lip as if this happiness wasn't meant for her. The attending physician examined the new mother and concluded that her condition was stable. Irma was transferred to a ward, while the twins were taken away to be cleaned and swaddled. What will you name them? Gloria asked the new mother. I don't know, Irma shrugged, turning towards the wall. All right then. Rest up, get some sleep, Gloria said, closing the door behind her. She left a pomegranate juice and porridge on the table for the young mother. Throughout the night, Gloria tended to the babies, trying not to disturb Irma, who needed to rest and regain strength before feeding her children. When Gloria brought the twins into the ward, she sighed in surprise. Irma had left, leaving behind a short note, "They're your children, Gloria. I can't raise them alone without Gordon, nor do I want to. Forgive me and farewell." And so Gloria became the mother of Adela and Alan. Together with Michael, they decided to adopt them. We should hire a nanny for the little ones, Michael suggested. Patients at the center must be missing you. True, Gloria agreed. I'm not a nursing mother. But it breaks my heart to leave them with someone else. Look how precious they are. Why with someone else? Michael replied. Let's ask Alma. She raised 6 and can handle ours too. Done and done. From the next day on, Gloria returned to work, and the center's affairs resumed their upward trend. But fate had other plans. It seemed to think Gloria's life was too easy and decided to throw her a curveball. 2 days later, a letter arrived from Gordon, complaining about his fate and asking Gloria to send him a package with some clothes and a bit of money. He didn't even inquire about Irma and the children. Gloria, being compassionate, fulfilled his simple request, also informing him that he had become a father to 2 babies. Another letter arrived from Gordon a week later, thanking Gloria for her help and for the children. He signed off as before, "My dear." "I'm not your dear," Gloria chuckled to herself, but she packed the parcel. She knew all too well what it was like to be without support. While she was at the post office, Michael came across the unfortunate letter. When he read it, he was consumed with jealousy. "Why does he call you my dear? And why are you helping him at all?" he erupted. "I feel sorry for him as a human being," Gloria tried to soothe him. "Prison must be tough, he's already paid for everything." "And you don't feel sorry for me?" Michael yelled. "Why do I have to watch my wife sending packages to that idiot?" "No, I don't feel sorry for you. I love you," Gloria replied. Feeling sorry for a man is humiliating for him. But Michael didn't listen. He grabbed his jacket and ran out into the pouring rain. He didn't return home. Gloria filed a missing person report with the police, but the search yielded no results. Once again, she was left alone, this time with 2 infants in her arms and a medical center to manage. She was torn between the children and her work. Everything would have collapsed if not for Dr. Charles, who took over the management of the center. "Any news from your brother?" he asked Gloria every time. "No," she replied tearfully. "It's been 3 years already. I'm so tired." One evening, someone knocked on Gloria's door. "Mom, someone's here." Adela and Alan, now 4 years old, shouted. Standing on the doorstep was Gordon. He had aged and looked worn out. "Will you take in a wanderer?" he said, stepping into the house. "I don't want to see you here," Gloria replied. "Trouble follows wherever you go. Leave. Don't chase me away. I'll be lost without you. Let me stay in the village. I'll rent a house and work for you, even as a janitor or a sanitation worker, and I'll look after the children." "All right. But on one condition, don't tell them you're their father," Gloria said. "I have to understand whether you've changed or not." And Gordon agreed. At first, everything went well. He worked hard, helped with raising the children. But then Gloria began noticing people looking at her oddly, and the children stopped greeting her at the door. "You're not our mom," Adela declared. Gloria's heart sank. "Who told you that?" she asked. "Dad," the children chorused. She couldn't bear such betrayal. "Gordon, why did you tell the children everything?" "It hurts them," she protested. "But it's the truth," Gordon replied. "Then why not tell them that you abandoned their mother to fate and that you're a criminal and a thief?" Gloria retorted. "They're still young. They'll forgive me and come to love me," Gordon insisted. "If that's the case, then tomorrow you'll take them into town for the children's festival and then to the pediatrician for their vaccinations," Gloria declared. "Get used to it, Dad." "I'm not going anywhere with them," Gordon said. "That's your business. I'm going fishing with the guys tomorrow." Gloria hadn't expected such audacity from Gordon, the twins' biological father. She left, slamming the door. But a surprise awaited her the next morning. "Gloria, is it true that the center will soon be handed over to Gordon?" Charles asked. "No, of course not," she replied. "Why do you ask?" "He's telling everyone he has a right to half of the clinic." "The other half belongs to my husband, Michael," Gloria said, astonished. "I know, but Gordon found out somewhere that Michael left a will for the children. And since Gordon is the children's father, he's now the legal owner of the center." Gloria was in shock. Once again, he was trying to ruin her life and claim something he had no rights to. Michael, where are you? I need you so much. Gordon filed a lawsuit to contest his rights to half of the clinic. And so the day of the hearings arrived. It seemed that the court was leaning towards siding with her ex-husband, who played the role of a pitiful victim. But then Gloria's lawyer, William Brown, received a call and took the floor. Your Honor, may I present 2 witnesses on behalf of my client? You may, replied the judge. The witnesses entered. Gloria's legs felt weak. Before her stood Michael, with Irma beside him. How had they ended up here? The first witness is invited, the court secretary announced. Michael stepped forward. Your Honor, I will now explain and prove that the plaintiff, Gordon Benson, has no right whatsoever to the clinic. I am Gloria's lawful husband, and I own this half. Where have you been all this time? The judge inquired. When I quarreled with my wife over her helping Gordon in prison, I went to a bar and got drunk. Some thugs beat me until I lost my memory. I wandered for a long time, was a vagabond, but 2 days ago I heard someone calling for help. A woman was drowning, and I saved her. She was the one who told me who I was. Apparently, the shock helped me remember everything. And this woman is now here with me, Michael said, gesturing towards Irma. Do you confirm his words? The judge asked Irma. Yes, Your Honor, I confirm, she replied. The court denied Gordon's lawsuit, reinstating Michael's rights to the clinic. Gloria barely made it through the hearing. She wanted to embrace her husband as soon as possible. My dear, my love, forgive me, forgive this fool. Michael rushed to her first. I love you so much. And I love you. Gloria breathed out. Forgive me too, Gloria, Irma said softly. Allow me to be near the children. I couldn't bear to live without them anymore. Of course, Gloria said. They returned home together, except for Gordon, who seemed to have vanished. Where's our dad? Little Alan asked. I'm your dad, Michael replied, and the children cautiously approached him. And this is your real mom, Gloria said, pointing to the tearful Irma. So now what? Do we have 2 moms? Curious Adela exclaimed. I don't want to go to that lady, I want to be with you. As you wish, my darling, Gloria hugged the little girl. When you grow up, you'll understand everything. Irma stood there, trembling with joy at seeing her children so happy and loved. She quietly left the house, deciding not to disturb their innocent minds. 10 minutes later, Gloria joined her on the bench, and they sat together, talking about everything under the sun, like old close friends. Come to us anytime, we'll always be glad to see you, Gloria said. Thank you. You're like a sister I never had, or a friend in adversity. After all, the same person broke both of our lives. Since then, Irma visited Gloria's family almost every weekend. Her motherly heart wouldn't let her rest, and the children called her Auntie Mom Irma. Mom. Adela approached Gloria. Why does everyone in daycare have younger brothers or sisters, but we don't? Well, that's about to change, Gloria said with a smile. Hooray! The children cheered. How will that happen? Michael asked, bewildered. Like this, Gloria chuckled. He's still surprised. Here you go, Dad. Wow! Exclaimed Michael. Hooray! They all shouted together.